Hello. A Merry Christmas to you all. It's like, what, 5 days? No, 4 days away? 3 days away? I don't know. Whatever. Hi, everyone. Cheers. Or as Johnny says, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and the rest of you. Okay. I'd be not classed in the ladies or the gentlemen section. Be the ruffians. I'll be classed as the ruffian section. Anyway, whatever. Rambling. Logo's working. Audio's working. I hope audio's working. No Christmassy logo. No, I did a New Year's-y... I mean logo. Logo where you mean thumbnail? Or just logo in general? Logo. No. I've had no time. No, there's no logo. There's no Christmas logo. How do we do... We could do... Don't know if that'll work. There you go. That's Christmassy green. We need a bit of red in there, but oh well. Hi everyone. I had nothing planned. I've got something planned. I don't know how I'm going to do it on the stream. Yeah, I've had a project come up. We'll talk about it soon. Talk about it in a minute. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's well. I've been busy this last week. I finally got some more Pico D4s in. I've been waiting on chips. I've been unable to make some boards, certain boards for orders. I've just finished those, finished them yesterday, and so I'll be able to ship them out today, hopefully, which is cool. Which just in time for me to start tinkering with my production line. I got some stuff to show. I got some stuff to talk about. The thing I've got to show, I wonder if I've even uploaded it. I should actually. I don't know if I did. I must have. I'll have to see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. But first we should do a hello to everyone in the chat. I'm a bit discombobulated this morning. I woke rather early. I'm pretty tired and I'm scattered. Completely scattered. So, you know. Just like every stream. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so... Bat Madness, hello. Adam Bryant, good morning. Antonio, Alan. That's Alan Madsen, not Alan K. Might be in, might not be in. I don't know. I haven't looked yet. Henrik, hello. Ray. No, I already said hi to Ray. Wow, I'm doing well already. I can't focus. Andy Mouse, hello. Embedded Hobbyist, hello. Mr. England, is it Christmas yet? No, it's not. It's very close. Andy Calloway, hello, Andy Calloway. Sergeant Bond, hi. Dutch Taurus, hello. Dave Odessa. Intimate Tech, hello, Quindor. This is scrolling too fast. Johnny, good morning. Graham Nobes, hello, Graham. Beata, hello. Johnny, hi. Rota, hello, Rota. David, hi. Andrew Beasley, hello, Andrew. Yay. It's been a while since I've seen you on a live stream. Welcome, and season's greetings to you as well. Cable Tie, hello, Cable Tie. Never fear, Cable Tie is here. AJ, hello. Mr. Explore, hello. Tabletronics, with a pink hand, is at, oh my god, LPZ. Hello, LPZ. That's very cool pink hand. What's coming off the fingers? It's very small on my screen. I've got a 5K screen. I'm trying to look at the little icon. M38, hello. From Grenoble. Ooh. Richard Fry. Hello, Richard. What are you doing awake? Or have you not gone to bed yet? Kevon, hello. Paul, hi. I'm going backwards now because I missed a whole bunch of people. No? Okay. I'm all over the place. Excuse me, data sheets make me fall asleep. Yeah, no, data sheets not only make me fall asleep, but I just can't focus on data sheets. It does my head in. So, I'm in a very weird mood today. Very weird mood. So, I can't even remember what I chatted about last week. What did we chat about? Oh, right. So I built my Nano S3 last week. They do work. I fixed the test jig. There was a tiny UF2 problem. Got that working. Got the firmware working. The Nano S3 works great. Not only did it work great, but I stuck the red antenna on it, the one that is not a drop-in antenna, and I kind of aligned it. It's a bit off the edge of the board. I aligned it to make the pads touch, and it actually works quite well. Surprise, surprise. So, hey, Monster Mark. It's red. Is it faster? Well, generally red goes faster. In my case, I don't want it to be faster. I want it to just be better. Well, no, it's the same. So what I ended up doing was I have done a redesign of all four of my S3 boards. My Tiny S3, my Pro S3, my Feather S3, and my Nano S3, unfortunately, again. And they are currently being made at JLC PCB. I've redone them all and implemented the new Ignian red antenna. This is not the Wi-Fi 6 one. This is the replacement, the dual band one, which obviously I'm only using a single band. So yeah, I've not fixed RGB on the logos, folks. Still not done any coding on the logo. Hello, Nick Stick Design. There's no RGB working, Alan. Hello, Christian. Logo pink unicorn farts. Yeah, well, if someone wants to come and code up those things, that would be awesome. You like to have snow. Yeah. Tells anything about the 1 mm PCB instead of 0.8. They said, sorry. We'll replace them. I don't want them to replace them because I've changed the antenna. They just said sorry. Anyway, we'll see what happens this time. I put an extra note in the thing saying, hey, I asked for 0.8, can you send me 0.8? I also wrote in there, please only use my paste layer for the stencils, do not change them in any way. And they changed 3 out of the 4 stencils. So, you know, they don't often read the notes that you put on there. Peter. Hello, Peter. Good morning, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hi, Bob. For all of you that watch, wow. What's it called? On Apple TV? They just went to Mars. Oh my God.
Johnny Bergdahl says you need to write the notes in Chinese.
Well, you know, I need to learn Chinese. Maybe I'll get Michael to write them for me. He knows Chinese. What's the show called? For All Mankind. Thank you. Hey, Bob. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway. Oh, God, my brain is a sieve. Really, really bad. I don't know what's going on with me. Hello, Majodi. Who else did I miss? Hello, Life in Cycling. Did I say hi already? I don't know. Downloading KiCad for the first time at the minute. Before this, I just had a guy on Fiverr doing my... Okay, KiCad's cool. It's got a bit of a learning curve. Oh, they all do. When you're starting from scratch, they all have a learning curve. But, yeah. Hello, Dave Hines. But KiCad's great. Bit crashy at the moment. Hello, Augustus. I'm actually looking forward to KiCad 7, but I've not even played with any of the nightlies. The file format's not compatible, and I don't want to accidentally load a project in and then not be able to go back again and whatever. But yeah, like the only time I've opened Eagle, I think in the last 9 months, was to just look through and check which file I wanted to import into KiCad. But he's still in the shack. What does shack mean? The shack. In the shack. The shed. In the... Hello, Jeremiah. Yeah, they don't follow the notes, but I always tick. Unless it's something that I absolutely do not care about, I always tick confirm production file. And I always check my boards. And unfortunately, it adds 2 or 3 days sometimes. So with the stencil issue, it actually added 3 days because I had to reject them, and then the confirm panel, when I said no and put the description in, for some reason it wouldn't let me upload. That they had a problem. It was out of their normal business hours. It was just looping and it wouldn't upload any images. So I ended up putting the things in without images, and then 24 hours later I get an email saying, hey, we need the images. I sent the images. 24 hours later I get an email back, okay, we'll fix them. Like, you know what I mean? It adds a lot of time on. But like, so on one stencil they didn't even put the peg holes for the USB connector, even though, like, on one stencil they did them wrong. They do sometimes, which is why I check it. And on one stencil they completely changed my QFN footprint, completely changed it. But on one of them there was just no peg legs holes. Like, it was just stupid. I don't know. Maybe they're getting their interns to do all the stencils. So you got to tick confirm production file, and you got to check them, and you got to check them thoroughly. They sneak little things in, little tiny things. Okay. Anyway, so that's what's happening with the S3 boards. Obviously, I'm in full production of the ones with the white antenna, the updated version that I've already done, which has the new RF layout. They are already in production, and I've got plenty of white antennas here to last me a while, so there won't be any stalling on that. I'm not rushing to get these new ones with the red antenna out, but I need to confirm that they're good, and I need to match them, because if I do end up doing any type of certification, it will be on those boards, not on my white antenna boards, because I can't get those antennas going forward. What? Whoa, this just looks crap PCBs. What? What is that? Is that a new company trying to sell you PCB services? They're called Just Look Crap PCBs. Ah, you're trying to come up with what JLC means. No, can I tell you something? They've lifted their silkscreen game. The silkscreen on my latest boards looks... I didn't tick the high def one, just the normal one. The silkscreen looks amazing. Like, I'm concerned now that it was a fluke and the next batch I get are going to look terrible, but the silkscreen looks good, really good. And normally it looks much better on green than it does on black, for instance, but like really solid whites and really good. Like, none of that bits missing on the letters and stuff. Hey, Dave Paul Jones. So yeah, I think they've lifted their game. Hopefully they have, and they'll be consistent. Hello, Creative Maker. I'm manually cleaning up V-Score PCBs because I found a depaneling machine online. I am manually cleaning them, and a depaneling machine, none of them are appropriate for what I do except for a laser-based depaneling machine. There are plenty of depaneling machines you can find online, anything from guillotine type to pizza roller ones to really basic milling separators, which scare the shit out of me. I wouldn't even put anything that wasn't a really, really top quality one anywhere near one of my panels, all the way up to really expensive milling ones. But the ultimate and the only thing I would ever consider doing, other than what I do right now, would be a laser based. So it's got to be no contact board separation. I can't do contact based board separation. There's just no way to hold the panel still. My boards are too small, my panels are too small, and it would just rip them apart. So yeah, but I know plenty of people that use the pizza rolly type one. The problem with them is they separate the panels. They don't clean the edge though, right? You still get not a very nice edge. It's a better edge than just breaking the board, 100%. But I don't want a better edge. I want a perfectly smooth, clean edge where it looks like it was never part of anything else. Why? Because I am insane. So that's why I clean my board edges. Okay, so, wow. I've got other news to share. I did something on my production line. Oh, I've got lots of stuff to talk about on my production line. Lots of stuff. But let's get on to... I've actually got something I want to do today. So there's a plan. It's not a great plan, but there's a plan. But I did happen to do... I've got to find it. Let me just find it. I know that I copied that over because I included it for my patrons. I'm pretty sure I did. So I wanted to show you something. I'm just going to minimize that. And I think it's this one. Oh, yeah.
Alan Madsen says, are you coding today?
I'm not coding. No, I'm not coding. That would be a disaster. We all know that. Okay, so my production line all talks to each other. I've wired it all up. It's a bit of a mess still. And I'm not going to like play through the whole thing. And it's do a bit of talking, but what do they talk about? They whisper behind my back about just how insanely stupid it is that I do what I do. That's basically what they do. They conspire against me. So I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna turn the volume down. I'm gonna play it. And I'll just, because you won't hear the volume, you won't hear me talking in it. There's, it's going to show the boards going from this is the D stacker, where I put a pile in. There's only 4 feather histories in right now, and I'm not actually pasting paste in them, but it's just going through them. It's pretending to paste. There's no paste on the board, on the stencil, right? Going to go all the way through the oven. You'll notice though that because I'm just doing it's a test line, the pick and place machine is in pass-through mode, which means it's not actually pick and placing, which means occasionally boards kind of get stuck on the way in because it's not actually requesting a board. It's just waiting. If it gets a board, it passes it through, but it's not saying, I need a board, right? The signals are a little bit different to what it would normally be. Rise up the robots. So I'm just going to push play. Yabba, 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 me talking. I turn the machine on. And it beeps because it's going to click reset and it's going to start feeding boards. Choo. It goes into the stencil printer and it automatically feeds the next one. Right? And it stops because it knows the stencil printer is busy, and it feeds another one and it stops because it knows that the conveyor's got something on it. So they're all talking. This is doing a pretend stencil run. I've got it set to, I'm explaining that I've got it in calibration mode where it won't start pasting until I adjust it, and that's what my little microscope is for. But I just clicked OK. It's doing a paste with no paste. Hey Max. And then when it finishes, it comes out. Can't remember, I think it might get stuck. Oh, yeah, it gets stuck because it's not actually requesting a board. It hasn't started the conveyor on this side, because it's not saying, hey, I need a board. That's okay, I just leaned in. But I've got to give it a tap. From memory, I just pull it. Right. Anyway, and it goes all the way through, and then it goes to the next conveyor, and it goes into the oven, assuming it pick and placed. I think there is one board that goes through. The problem is at any point, if I put my hand or lean over a sensor anywhere on the line, it holds up the whole communication, right? Because they all, one machine saying, I need a board on my in and I have a board on my out, and the next machine is saying, okay, I have a free spot for the next board or whatever. If I hit a sensor and it does, I change the state of its boards. So this again, it didn't. Oh no, right, that's the stenciling side. Anyway, whatever. The point is, it does work. I think that the last 2 boards went through all the way. And you know what that was? Oh, that was exciting. So that did a clean. So all of a sudden, the stencil printer, well, it's not the first time it's happened for me, but I forgot. It starts making this weird noise, and what it does is this big hydraulic arm pushes the cleaner forward. So you'll see, just hang on. You see the white on the stencil going past, and it'll come back again. Just wait. Right, there it goes. It actually goes through and cleans the bottom of the stencil. And I can put my cleaning liquid, I haven't done it yet, my cleaning liquid in there as well. So I think it's set at the moment to every 3 times it stencils, it cleans the bottom of the stencil. So that just, it's not triggering the conveyor, which is, but that's only because it's in pass-through mode. And of course the oven's not on, so I'm not letting in the oven. So that's exciting, I got all that done. It was quite interesting to do because no documentation. So the stencil printer has SMEMA ports, which is an old standard that used to get used, but it was wired for the Chinese setup, which is just basically 24 volt signaling. And every in and out conveyor has 4 wires, and which wires do I use? I don't know. Which ones connect to the previous machine and which ones connect to the next machine? I don't know. Like, it was real hit and miss, but I got it all. I worked out one and then I cascaded it through. And so they all talk. So I can put, obviously I need a new oven with a chain, so like a conveyor, and before I can put the restacker on the other end, and to have it fully automated from destacking all the way through to restacking. But right now it's destacking all the way through the oven and into the catch bin. Is it RS405? No, it's a high and low signal. It's a 24 volts, means I need a board, and the out on the thing previously would go, I've got a board, it needs a board, send it. It's as simple as that. It's just high-low state switching. There's no protocol at all. Well, I guess that's a protocol, but yeah, it's pretty, it's very Chinese. But that's how all the Chinese machines work. So that's pretty cool. I did that Sunday morning. It's very basic. It's very, very basic. The other thing I did, I don't know if I can see it in here, probably not. Let me see if I can find something else that I haven't shown. I don't know what that is. Hang on. No, not that one. It might just be pictures. Let me see if I can. I've got them on my phone. I've set up. No. I mentioned I got pasting working, right? I have been pasting some boards on it. Okay, I can't find it. Where have I put it? Okay, right. Well, I can show you this. This is... So I've made some soundproofing panels. So I've hung a soundproofing panel here, and I've got panels here. These are double-sided acoustic panels, which help with the noise from the new compressor. Still a little bit loud. We'll talk about that another time. But I put those in, so that's pretty cool, I think. Hang on. And the other thing I've done is... I thought I had a video. Maybe I don't. I've started running all the pneumatic, all the air, and redoing all the wiring along the top of on the line, you know, on the trays. And it's not all finished yet, but it's coming along really well. Anyway, so I wanted to show you that. Now that's led me to a problem. I have a problem. Of course, I've always got problems. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I have a new project that I'm about to start. And I need to, it's a really urgent project. It's not going to be a quick project, it's really urgent. But I need a bit of backstory first. Just one. Lots of projects. And lots of things I'm never going to finish. Whatever. This one's different though. This one is, hey Mad Techie. This one is to solve a problem that I cannot solve any other way than moving out of here and finding a different factory. which isn't going to happen, right?
Cable Tie says, did you finish all the other ones first?
Oh, not even close, mate. This is just, I'm just making a piles and piles of unfinished projects. This one has to be finished, though. This one has to get done. So, sorry, someone just pinging me from Adafruit. Okay. Yep, all good. So let me tell you the problem. So you all know that I've had issues with the pick and place machine. It's back up and running. I still have an air issue. There's an air leak happening. I bought a new regulator set to swap it out. I can't do that unless I pull the machine off the line because I can't get into the sides. I got to either pull the machine out or I got to remove both conveyors on the side. And every time you touch the conveyors, change the alignment, change the leveling, change the angles, your boards get stuck, whatever. I haven't done it yet because I've been using the line. So the machine's almost back to completely good, right? One of the things that, okay, there were three reasons I moved out of home and into here. There were lots of reasons, but there were three main ones, very important ones that I had to solve. Why is my camera shifted on my logo? Sorry, I just noticed, and that's a bit annoying. Let me see if I can fix that. It's not centered. Okay, there we go. And why is it...
Pro Max says air leak. If it leaks like a Soyuz, it's a Soyuz.
Well, this is, I mean, every machine leaks. Everyone's saying to me, like who works with air, is that machines leak, you can't do anything about it, all machines leak. My pick and place is leaking more than it should be in places it shouldn't be. This in that regulator stuff on the side, it's leaking. And it shouldn't be. No other machine, no one else that has an N8 has a leak there. Like it's quite an audible noise. You can hear it hissing. It's definitely shouldn't be like that. Anyway, so I moved out for three specific reasons, main reasons, headline reasons. One, well, I needed space for me to be able to work. I was stepping on everything, right? I had no floor space. It was terrible. Two, I needed to be able to expand my line, and I needed to be able to bring in redundancy, right? I've got too many single point of failures here, right? My pick and place goes down, I can't manufacture. My oven goes down, I can't manufacture. Right, my compressor went down.
Miserable says Yaz wanted the garage back.
No. I mean, they've obviously benefited from me moving out, but that wasn't one of the reasons. So the compressor is a different story. I mean, obviously both my compressors failed. I got a new compressor. I can do that locally. I can get a compressor straight away. My pick and place goes down. Okay, I'm going to get a new pick and place machine. Great. 90 to 120 days. I have no pick and place machine, right? I can't not manufacture for 4 months. Same with an oven. So, two single point of failures, I needed to solve that by moving out. I needed space to be able to have redundancy. The third thing, which was really important, was I never had any, because my production line was in the garage at home, I had no space to put tools. I had no dirty area. Basically, the laser and the one bench I had was in the garage right next to my line. I needed a place to have dirty tools that could be isolated from the line, right? And I needed a place to put more dirty tools because there's more tools I want to get, and there's more things that I want to do that allow me to diversify from just doing pure electronics and production of electronics, and I can't do those things without the tools. And so I needed space for the tools, but it had to be kept separate from the line. So it turns out that I don't quite have enough room in here to get the redundancy level I want, that I can get, and have a dirty area that is able to do what I need. And that really sucks. Like that's been driving me nuts for the last 2 weeks. So I have a plan in place, like, for solving my redundancy of the pick and place machine and the oven. and sorry, the draining of the compressor. But I can't, if I do that, I can't have my dirty space. Like I literally do not have enough space to even have the tools I've got here, let alone expand. And this is not a conversation about how I can rearrange the gap. Yeah. So, okay. Straight up, anyone that suggests anything, I'm going to ignore. Okay. This is not about rearranging my space to accommodate it. That not what the discussion's about. There's only one solution that can solve this, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about. Only one. And it's a solution that no one's going to come up with, but I've got. And no, it does not involve renting next door. That's not going to happen. And no, I'm not moving. I can't afford to be moving, right? So I thought I had this solved, and then I found out that I don't have it solved. The solution was, so right now, as you saw on my line, there's a machine, a conveyor, a machine, a conveyor, a machine, blah, 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 blah. To get redundancy here, there are two things that are going to happen. I'm going to be buying ready for it, a Neoden IN12, 12C oven. Why am I buying a Neoden oven? Because it's the only oven I can get that is the length that'll fit, that is a chain-based oven. Unfortunately, as soon as you look at chain-based ovens, even whatever Chinese, anything, it doesn't matter what it is, unless I pay $90,000 for an SM Tech oven, all ovens are at least a meter longer than I can fit in this space. The Neoden IN12 is the only oven, unfortunately, that will fit in the space. It also does what I need. Thanks, Jack McMack. Right, it's the only oven that I can put there that'll fit. It's 2.2 meters, and it's at least, no, it's 1.2 meters shorter than the next closest oven. Okay? So that's that. And then I can take the IN6 and I can push that against the wall somewhere else. It's very small. It's only 1.2 meters long, and it's 700 wide. It doesn't take up much space. That will be my backup. So I'll have IN12, I'll have the IN6, which is working. It's not the best oven, but it's working. That gives me redundancy. For the pick and place redundancy, I have arranged to purchase EM Logic's demo machine. That will give me two Neoden 8s. And the plan is to put them both in line next to each other, which would give me two machines that are identical, that I can utilize both to speed up my production by a percentage. I estimate 30%. But it also means that if any one of the two fail, I can continue working just like I am now with a single machine, with the same working files, the same feeders, the same everything, and have minimal downtime. Right? So two up running machines, any one of them can fail, and I'm still good. If they both fail, well, nothing I can do about that, right? Buy 3, and if they all fail, we'll buy 4, like whatever. The problem is the Neoden, I'd never catered for a second Neoden in line. I don't have any space to just have it sitting in here, just randomly off to the side. And even if I did that, that's a lot of money to spend on a machine that's just sitting there. And sure, it might give me redundancy, but it gives me no other benefit. And that just seems stupid to not utilize the machine and get faster throughput. So the two machines can't butt up next to each other. They have to have a conveyor in the middle. And right now, with the length of conveyors that I've got, which are 600 millimeters wide, no, we can't do, there's no rotating the line, guys. It's got to be one long line. I'm telling you what the solution is, okay? I'm about to tell you. And as I said, it's the only solution. Hey, Christopher. Right now, our conveyors are 600.
Super chat!
Thanks, Jeremy. Hey, John. How you doing? With the conveyor 600, I'm I've only got I've got about 2 meters left for a dirty area, but that also is my clearance for the door. And so I need at least 2 meters clearance, which means I can't put anything in front of the door, which means I've got no dirty area. So the plan was to get shorter conveyors, and I spoke to the company that I got my conveyors from, and they told me they can get me 400 millimeter conveyors. I wanted 300. They said they can do 400. 3 conveyors, that's 600 millimeters. I know it doesn't sound like a lot. 600 millimeters less line length if I change my conveyors to 400s. And that pushes me up enough that I could almost squeeze in the tools I've got here into the end. Unfortunately, they got back to me 2 hours later and said, actually, no, the shortest we can get is 500. We don't do 400. I've been looking everywhere and no one does 400 or lower or less on a conveyor. And so that whole idea evaporated until I remembered that John Oxer, some Superhouse, had been working on a conveyor idea for his production line. He's been building a custom conveyor, or the project's stalled. That's okay. And I'd been toying with the idea of making my own conveyors. And so the solution is I'm going to make my own conveyors, and I'm going to make them 300, and that gives me an extra meter at the end. And that extra meter allows me to fit all my tools in I've got now, plus 1 or 2 other small things. But it also gives me the flexibility of potentially modifying other things on the line to reduce line as well. Now, I've got some pictures to show you my current conveyor, like the ones I'm using. They're really not a difficult thing, right? I mean, they you know, from an electronics point of view, they don't have to be fancy. They're pretty basic, right? 24 logic, some motor drivers, and a mechanical build. The mechanical build is going to be more of a challenging part than the electronics or any of the firmware. Well, so what's interesting about this project is there is a major lack of...
Rick the Almighty says just let us know when we can start throwing ICs at you.
Stupid... What? ICs? Oh, you mean ideas at me? In terms of what? For the conveyor? So there's a real problem. There's a lack of available conveyor technology out there. So if you buy a Samsung line, like a proper Samsung line, Yamaha line, Juki, Fuji, whatever, you buy into their ecosystem and you buy their conveyors. They're all really smart. Everything talks to each other. It's all proprietary, all fancy stuff. But when you're in the space like I'm in, space pun not intended, where you're buying all these Chinese things ad hoc, whether they're coming from the same company or not, they're all dumb and they're all manual. So right now, if I want to move from a Feather S3 panel to a Tiny S3 panel, which are 2 different widths, I have to manually go and set the width. Paul's here! Hello, Paul. We were talking about you last week. I hope you're well, mate. Yay! I have to manually set the width of every single conveyor along the line. And if I make a mistake or I forget one, I can either get a board jammed or a board fall off the conveyor onto the floor. It's really bad, right? So I want electronic and smart conveyors, and they don't exist. Like, I can't even buy them from China. Like, oh, I can, but I have to buy some crazy whatever thing that uses its own protocol that isn't compatible with any of my line. And they're horrifically expensive. So what I want to do is I want to build a conveyor that's also smart, that's Wi-Fi connectivity. The one John's looking at is going to use CAN bus. I don't particularly want to use CAN bus. I want, for me anyway, I want Wi-Fi connectivity. Hey Braden, with whether it's they all talk to each other directly ad hoc, or whether it's MQTT based or whatever, where I can just tell my line to change width and everything changes width. Obviously I can't force my pick and place to do that, or the stencil printer, because that runs its own proprietary software, but I can tell everything else on the line, including my stackers and destackers, which I'm going to retrofit. Say, hey, this is the board I'm going to work on, and my whole line adjusts itself, right? So the other thing was that my very unfinished, very early still automatic inspection machine, I've been trying to work out, I've got, again, photos to show you, how I could interface that into an existing conveyor, the way they work, to stop it. So here's a board, stop the board so I can inspect it. And basically, interfacing it is easy, but it breaks the whole communication on the line. It can't do it. You can't leave a board in limbo between I need a board and I've got a board at the end, because it holds the whole production line up, the communication, right? So I need something that is going to be smart enough to know that, hey, I'm inspecting a board, so don't hold the line up. And I can't change that on these existing things because it's all, whatever firmware's on their ARM chips. Hey, Jay, and they're not set up for it. So my plan is to make something that can also then be interactive with other things if it needs to be. Convey Blizzard merging almost sounds like. Yeah, Factorio is a great game. My time starts now. Yeah, okay, so let me show you, okay, this is in no particular order. Okay, and these are going to be, on an angle. Took them on an angle. Good one, Sion. So these are the guts of this is the electronics inside my existing conveyor. Sorry, life in cycling. That's life. So that's the electronics inside. It's pretty basic stuff. It's a manual rotating of the front, which connects to here, which isn't great. Two ball rods that are connected via a chain. You can see the. Sorry, can I rotate these? Must be able to rotate this view. No. Maybe if I actually open them. That's annoying. Ooh, it's not letting me open them. Okay. That's better. Right. So now I should be able to rotate it. Rotate right. Okay, that's better. Okay, so that's the electronics. I'm gonna have to rotate each one, I think, as it comes up. So, 2 ball screws. The front plate is fixed for the conveyor. The back one obviously moves. You got steppers for controlling. They don't use belts. They use these green silicon, like thick string, which is glued together. Or it's hot attached. They're pretty cool. They're actually much nicer than the belt version ones. Right, here's another look at that. That's from the back. Right, so you got one stepper on one side, one stepper on the other side to control the moving of the line. And the manual control of the width. It's using these type of sensors for detecting a board coming in and a board going out, so it can halt the board. What other photos have I got? Here's a closer look at the electronics. I did actually get close up to some of the chips to have a look, but it's pretty basic stuff. A lot of opto-isolated inputs. Got a comparator over here. I'm assuming there's some form of motor controller here and an arm, or 4 motor controllers and an arm chip. I've got a closer up of that, I think. Yep, that's the arm chip. Doesn't help me. I can't do anything about it. I'm not interested in grabbing their firmware and hacking it or anything. I don't want to. I mean, they're all similar, like a CNC control board compared to this. Like they're all you know, fundamentally we're all doing the same thing. These are the, I believe that's what they're using for their motor drivers, 8825s. You can buy 8825 motor drivers from Pololu. They don't look like this. These are maybe Chinese versions of it. Well, I don't want to use a standard 24 volt 3D printer controller because I need completely different functionality, and I'm not after something Gerbil controlled. There's just the back of it, how the screw, the ball screws attach. It's the company I buy them from, Honreal. What else have I got? Just a look at the feet down the bottom. These are all things that are easily solved just with extrusion. Here we've got a comparator. I believe that's LM358. I think that's a comparator.
Intermit says PCB certainly won't be the biggest issue to design. Mechanical stuff can be hard.
Exactly. PCB is a piece of cake. Piece of cake. The issue is going to be purely the mechanical. Now, the good thing is I don't need some huge, robust industrial something.
Super chat!
Woo! Crazy boy, thank you. Wow. Very generous of you. I'm putting up with you. Nothing to put up with, mate, but thank you very much. And Merry Christmas to you as well. So the interesting challenge is going to be the mechanical side, and the mechanical side isn't overly difficult, but it's more than just the top. I need a complete freestanding thing, right? It can all be extrusion based. I don't need to be using steel and welds and stuff. I can use 40/40 extrusion for the frame, build everything on top of that. I just need something that's reproducible. Hey Dale, it's got to be reproducible, because if I can solve this for me, then I want to make this something that other people can either make, or something that I can sell, something that I can kit up, maybe, I don't know. I think this is a solution. If I can get this working right, this is a solution that stacks of people could leverage, not just for PCB conveyors, but just in general, because there's a massive missing window between the cheap Chinese stuff like this, which does what it's supposed to do, but a lot of limitations, and the really high-end stuff that is just, $17,000 for a conveyor. Really? Not going to happen. Now, what's interesting is, can you see these holes here at the back? Now, I don't know if that's what these are for specifically on this, because they don't have them on the front, and they put wiring looms on the front. Hey, Christos. But one of the ideas I had, and this is going to make it a much more challenging and a much more expensive project, but something that could be friggin' awesome, is that right now leveling these things is the biggest pain in the ass, right? You level it with the feet, and it's very hard to level, like especially with one person, which most people are doing by themselves, very hard to turn the feet and level it at the same time. You can't use any of the frame for your level to check it, because there's no guarantee the frame's straight anywhere. Like if the weld is like a millimeter out, like if that plate's a millimeter out, you're out. And let me tell you, if the conveyor is more than like 0.1 millimeter out of alignment, the board gets jammed. And the bigger the board, as in the longer the board, the more chance it's going to get jammed. It has to be so perfectly straight. And like, I can't tell you how many times I'll just lean on the thing, one of these. Whatever, I'm standing there, I'm looking at a board, I'll move forward, I'll put my arm just on it to rest, to look at the board, and the thing moves, and it moves enough that my next board gets jammed. It's infuriating, right? So I had an idea, and unfortunately it would have to be 4 extra steppers. I can't see how else to do it. Would be to have vertical height adjustment and alignment. It's not just aligning it level, but my stencil printer is a different height to my pick and place machine by default. They've all got movable legs, but they're all by default a different height. And then my D-stack is a different height, and my oven is a different height. And the oven's a fixed height and can't be adjusted up and down. So trying to get everything at the same height and then perfectly level, oh my God, like people spend weeks trying to level their production line. It took me 2.5 days to level this, and I still sometimes knock it, and I'm so frustrated. So the idea of sticking 4 vertical steppers, like these, right? To be able to not only adjust the height of the whole thing, you know, maybe if it's only 10 centimeters, right, or 15 centimeters, that's enough for everyone to be able to adjust their line for the discrepancies, and 4-corner leveling on it, right, to be able to get it level without sitting there trying to rotate feet on the thing, right? What's if the floor's not level? Happens a lot, right? So I think that is like for version 2. I think that's going to be a huge amount of work. But I think there is a place for this type of unit out there. I think that there's a real missing opportunity there. But I need a basic conveyor that's smaller. I need a 300mm wide conveyor. I can save myself over 1 meter on my production line. I know it sounds like a lot of work to save 1 meter, but for me, it's the difference of having a dirty area or having redundancy, but not having both. And I need both. That was the whole purpose of moving out. Why adjust it on the feet? You could probably adjust the belt. No, you can't. What do you mean? You can't adjust the belt height or angle. That's the last thing you want to do. That's got to be perfectly square and perfectly fixed and unchangeable, because you can't skew the conveyor. No, that's not how you level it or change it. Sorry, Alan. There's a reason why all this machinery is built this way, right? Yeah. Yeah, no, that's definitely not the way to do it. Sorry. So 300 doesn't give me enough room to do inspection everywhere, but that's okay. I can do inspection on the pick and place. I can do inspection on the stencil printer. The stencil printer can actually do its own inspection, right? It can. I have to program it in per board, but it can do its own inspection and reject a board or not based on that. The kicker for me is I need to be able to join the 2 Neoden 8s together, and you can't butt them up. It's impossible, right? There has to be some type of electronic thing in the middle. Now, I could probably get away with a really dumb, always moving 200mm something between the 2 pick and places. It still has to have auto adjustment though, right? It's got to be able to be changed, and it's got to be able to be leveled. But it doesn't need to have any smarts. It could have no in and no out sensor. It could just go straight through, right? And if I put a 200 there, like that's going to save me almost, that's going to save me 400mm just on that section there. So what I want to do is I want to build a base that is small enough that I can accommodate 200 or bigger. Now, you wouldn't want to put a 1 meter conveyor with a 200 base. That'd be a bit of a problem, but you know what I mean. I keep picturing home railway with little cars carrying boards around. Yeah, it's close to that. 3 feet instead of 4 is much easier to level. Yeah, and yeah, I'd be going 4 feet on this. Then you could what? Place the conveyor unit on a table. No, it's got to be solid and fixed and not movable. Yeah, no, that's sticking a conveyor on a table on a production line is not a that's not a solution for a permanent production line, Alan. Like, it's got to be sturdy, stable, right? Like, it needs weight. It can't be knocked or bumped or anything. Right? I'm not going to screw the conveyor to a table somehow. Like, no, there's and a solution like that would be useless to anyone else, right? There's got to be there's a reason all conveyors look like this and function like this. They're just obviously smarter and look fancier and communicate better with the line as you start spending more money or go proprietary. But there's a reason why this is the way they all look and work. So trying to, like, I don't want to reinvent that, because that's folly, right? Like I what I want to do is make it you still need adjustable legs. What's if the ground's not flat? You have to have adjustable legs. And if you're adjusting the legs anyway, you adjust the legs to get it roughly level, and then the rest you can do, well, I wouldn't be doing it at the top. I'd be doing it only at the legs or electronically via steppers. But anyway, right, even the $17,000 ones adjust from the legs. Like even a $250,000 pick and place machine adjusts from the legs. They all adjust from the legs. Everything adjusts from the legs. It's just the way it does. A bit of extrusion and the chains off your bikes. Sorry, I'm just reading back. Earthquake sensor, no. Yeah. Isn't it hard to get extrusion stiff enough? Well, I don't know. Like I'm not sure that's going to be necessarily be a problem. So I want to start designing this thing. Like I've been looking for all the stuff I need. Having never really worked with ball screw before and all the couplers and all these things and that things, I'm finding it quite interesting / difficult to really understand all the things I need. I want to be able to source whatever I can initially for the first prototype locally, because I don't want to have to wait 3 weeks, 4 weeks to get stuff. This is a solution. This is a problem I need to solve immediately. Like my timeline on getting this solved is yesterday. Right now, I'm stuck in limbo where I cannot make a move in either direction with my dirty area, with the tools I need for projects that are stalled, with my production line, with ordering the oven, with ordering the second neodymium. I can't do anything until I have this solved, because until this is solved and working, I have no other solution. And if I have no other solution, I'm at a stalemate, right? So I want to source the stuff locally. There is a company here in Melbourne called Maker Store. They're really not cheap. Well, I guess it's all relative. So this is the website here, and they do have a lot of stuff. It can't be hard to have pro welded building mechanical. But I don't want a pro welded. For prototyping, I don't need a pro welder building. Like I don't need a mechanical frame like one of those. It's not necessary on the line. As long as I can put some weight at the bottom of it, it's not necessary. And I don't know the specifications of what I'm going to need, and I don't want to duplicate what other people have made because it's the wrong size, right? I can't fit a 300mm conveyor on that existing thing. That's why they don't make 300 or 400. They can only make 500s because their base is too big, right? Yeah, that's not a direction I'm interested in, Alan. I mean, feel free if you want to, but it's not that's not a solution that everyone else is going to want, right? And it's not a solution that I want. Like it's my solution has to be, this is the same as what everyone else uses, but it is, you can have a much narrower, smaller length conveyor that has more functionality than what you can currently buy. So for people that are really space limited, can reduce their production line or get more automation on their line, right? That's my aim. And so it has to work and be the same type of system that slots in like everyone else's. So, like, so I can buy extrusion from here. They've got these type of actuators that I could use that are cheaper, still expensive. No, I do understand what you mean, Alan. I do understand, but I'm not interested in making something that's in two separate pieces. That's all. Like, that's maybe what you don't understand. I'm not interested in here's a desktop solution that you can put on any desk. That's not what I'm interested in making. I understand. What are we working on today? We're going to work on designing a DIY conveyor that can be as short as 200 mil. 200 is too short for most PCBs, like on a production line. I couldn't get my Reflow Master Pro panels inside 200 millimeters. It might be that 250 is the minimum I can go between the pick and place machines, but I still need the ability to do as short as possible. I can't have the PCB half in one machine and half in the, like, partly in one and partly in the other machine as it's traveling. I can't have that, right? Because it's going to be a problem with the sensors going through. Sure, Adam, except it still has to be, it's not a dumb system. It still has to be able to have electronically adjusted width, right? And it still has to have some form of sensor to understand that it's got a board on there, even if it doesn't stop and start the board. It needs to be able to communicate, maybe. Like, it needs to be able to communicate for those situations where it wants to be put where it needs to communicate, right? I don't want to make a second custom solution just for between the two neodyns, right? I want the same solution, but I want it to be able to go as short as X and as long as Y, right? But exactly the same thing. Adjustable width, but electronically adjustable width, where they all communicate with each other. Dumb meaning, in the case of the two neodyns, I don't need it to be triggering off sensors. It won't be communicating. It still needs to be able to communicate, but my exact use case between the two neodyns, it won't communicate. But it'll still be exactly the same system I'm building. It's crazy building two different things, one that communicates and one doesn't. If it needs all the rest of the other functionality, right, then it's the same thing, just one will be turned off and one not. What if the customer has 2 meters up to where the conveyor should be? Then the customer will have made it so wants and also put a unit. What? 50 centimeters up to where the conveyor, 2 meters up to where the. That doesn't exist, Alan. You make that's a hypothetical that doesn't exist anywhere in the world. Who would have 2 meters up to the conveyor? All production line equipment's kind of built to the same rough specifications of height. There is no 50 centimeters, 2 meters. Yes, all conveyor, like, so, like this, like my conveyors I've got right now. Chris, I hope that explains. Right. So back to there is a standard, meaning everyone produces their machines at roughly the same height, and then the rest is adjustable by feet. I don't understand why you're fighting me on this. That's just what it is, you know. And there might, you know, Juki's might be a totally different height, but all of the Juki equipment is the same height. You don't go and buy a Juki pick and place machine and a Juki stencil printer and a you know, Juki optical inspection machine and then go and stick cheap ass Chinese conveyors that don't talk the same protocol on the line with it, right? So, hey Flowrider, hey Charles. So, like, you know, I can go buy a KO pick and place machine and a Neoden oven and a Honreal conveyor and a GDT optical inspection machine, and if I put them all on the line, they're all roughly going to be the same height, and they can all be leveled using their feet. That's just what it is. So that's already solved. It's just a pain in the ass to do it with the feet. I clearly don't understand what you mean, but I still don't understand why you're trying to come up with something that's different to this. That's all. Okay. Yeah, anyway, I can go this type, but they've also got ball screw. I probably want to, oh God, I can't type. I probably want to go ball screws just to keep it nice and simple. They found it anyway. They've only got 1 meter kits, which is fine. It's a little bit longer, wider than I need to go. Hey, Loki. But that's okay. So, but none of the kits are in stock, right? And I'm trying to work out what I really need. You know, there are these type of bits that go on the end to hold them. You can get, obviously, the type like they've got here that just screw into the back like this, right? I think they're just a ball bearing or something. Trying to work out what couplers I need. All proving kind of, you know, an interesting challenge. I don't particularly want to do two-steppers for both. I like them joined, kind of like maybe what they've done here, but I don't really want to be doing greasy mechanical chains between them, but maybe I have to, I don't know. And then, like, just, so these pieces here are going to be quite challenging. The actual arms, right, these aluminium things, I'm trying to work out what they are. Like, they're a T-slot on one side, like a high groove, and then 2 T's on the inside. This lip, though, you can see this lip here, seems to be inside a slot, or where a slot is, but it's actually attached. So, but like this whole section here, this, you know, these pieces, they're the same. I've got 2 different brand conveyors, and they're both using exactly the same pieces. Maybe these pieces can be bought from somewhere, I don't know. But that would be a limiting factor. Like, you know, I would need them to be custom sizes. It may be. They're also, they're tapered at the start and the end, and it doesn't look like they've been tapered afterwards. Like, whatever the anodizing is they're using, it's all been nicely anodized. So, like, it's not like they've taken the thing and stuck it on a grinder. I don't know if it will, but the reason these are so heavy is so if you knock them, they don't move, right? But I'm not going to be able to build solid steel to start with, so I'm going to experiment with extrusion. That's all I can really do. Right now, I need a table. I thought it was a rail slit in a slot, but it's not, because if you look where the slot is, it's lower than where the thing is, and there are no screws in there holding that thing in the slot. So it's not, it's actually because it's attached. You're looking at the cut end. Huh? You're talking about this end here? No, this is higher than the slot. Well, anyway, there's no join that I can see, and there's no screws holding it in place. Right, I have to redesign the body as well. That's why I can't, like, their body is wider than my shortest conveyor length, which is why they can't do shorter conveyors, right? They've got a fixed base, and the shortest they can get on there is 500, right? I want a narrower base, or at least a narrower top. It can be a wider base. The base can be as wide or a little bit shorter than the conveyor length, the minimum conveyor length, right? It doesn't have to hang over so far. But either way, Well, I don't think they can. That's the problem. I can't see how they're doing this lip, and this lip is really important. This lip here that the belt moves along has to be there, right? And theirs is not slotted in, and there's also got this bit here which is extruded out, so it's not a perfectly flat. It's like this thing. Yeah, I don't know. The problem is I can't pull. I've got 3 conveyors in my line and they're all being used. I cannot pull a conveyor out and pull it apart to find out how it works. Possibly, Chris. The problem is I need, that's the thing, I need to kind of work out all these things that I need, source them all, work out how I'm going to do them. Obviously with sensors, there are lots of different ways I can go. I'm going to need homing, like the ability for it to home. So I'm going to need, I was speaking with Peter Homan about doing slot-based homing, so the conveyor would come all the way together, like the pick and place and like the sensor printer do, comes all the way together, it homes, and then it opens up to whatever size it needs to be. The firmware stuff's easy, it's just whatever. Yes, it's fixed on one side, only adjusts on the other side. But it needs to be perfectly parallel. So, and ideally, I don't want to be running 2-steppers because it seems a waste to put a second stepper in. They don't have to be ball screw. You know, it's not like they're going to be moving all the time, right? 3 steppers in a row. What do you mean 3 in a row? No, I understand, Adam. I don't want to use G2 belt, no belts. That's what John's currently using. Yeah, not belts. My other conveyor uses it's some type of green, flat material. There's no teeth on the other side. This stuff is amazing. I definitely want to source and use this. I thought this was going to be terrible, but this green stuff, this silicon string, whatever it is, what's it called? Polycord? Okay, I've never seen it before. It's great. It's perfect. You know, yeah. So I want to use this. The electronics can hang out the front, all I care at the moment. I've been trying to source parts I can't find. I've been trying to source, like, really hard to search for. And I've been trying to find like any type of design files online anywhere for some type of PCB conveyor. Can't find either, or nothing that actually is whatever works. I thought about doing in the middle, right, and whatever on the side. Again, I don't know if is that going to be able to keep it perfectly square. One of the ways that I could do that would be that when it comes together, so if I use trinamic drivers, I don't use a limit switch. I actually bring them all together and crash them in, right? Like what the Prusa does. Crash them in so they're straight to the other line and then move them out. And I could home that way, right? But that would need to allow that, that I don't want the movable one to be like independently able to rotate, but it needs to be, it'll be interesting. Scissor jack mechanism would also take care of the parallel movement with a single act. Scissor jacks, I think that's way too complicated, and electronically, and yeah, whatever. Anyway, that's right. If I use Trinamics, I don't have to worry about end stops. Use robot art, yeah. Pretty sure that's not a solution that's viable, Jay. Definitely not something reproducible. Your O-ring material in length. Okay. This is not whatever this is. Yeah, it's not O-ring material. If you put the 2 screws side by side with direct motor drive. I'm sorry, I'm not. I don't follow Photochromax. What are we talking about? The yeah, they do whip wafers around with robots, but the robot can't get the board out of one of these machines because and get it into the next machine. It's got to be out of the machine for the robot to get it, and so out of the machine it drops it if there's not something there to catch it, which is a conveyor. So how about just have a conveyor? Yeah, I don't want belts for the conveyor bit. That's what I'm saying. I don't want belts. The minimum length. Okay, but the minimum viable length is going to be. It's probably not 200. It's probably 250, right? For the conveyor. So 250 is plenty of room. What do I need? I need 3 steppers in there where 2 of them could be opposite each other, depending on how it's mounted, and 1 stepper to move the thing back and forwards. Like there's plenty of room. Belts including the green polycord thing. Okay, we're calling that a belt. I wouldn't have called that a belt, but okay, yep. Same as the 15, the 1541 floppy drive homing, crashing the head. Okay, so I actually I wanted to start putting stuff in a shopping cart. The green cord is on. No, it's on both sides. Both sides have to move the conveyor. How does it move just one side? Both sides. There's a stepper here for the other side. Guy makes donut machines, which came to mind. Donut machines? Claims to build parts as needed. Australian donut machines. Oh, nice. Yeah, but I'm not looking at someone else to make parts for me. It's not that I want it as compact as possible. I have a length limitation. I want it to be it's got to go as short as 300. I'd like it to be 250, but as short as 300. Yeah, that's the old stuff they use. I don't want to use that, Alan. That's what my other conveyor uses. It's not good. I don't want to use it. I want to use this polycord. Whatever, if it's polycord, whatever it's called, I don't know. That's what I want to use. And it's nice and easy. See donuts. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait until to see your solution. When does the stream? Yeah, obviously not going to be solved today, but I need to start. I don't know. I might only take a week off or 2 weeks off. I don't know yet. I might surprise everyone with some unexpected streams. I think this is what the stuff, material handling, polycord. Oh, Bob posted a link. I don't know if it's... I mean, maybe it's the same. This stuff's really speckly. And it's a very rough surface. Like you can feel how rough it is. I don't know if it's the same, but whatever. It's not O-ring material at all. It's not smooth like O-ring material. And it's quite flexible, very flexible. Yeah, it's a place to look for sure. I'm sure I can reach out. I can reach out to people in China and find. Right. So I don't even know what size ball screws do I really need. Like, do I need to go is 12mm okay? Do I really need 16? Right. Let's start. Yeah, it's joined with heat. You can see that there's a join right here. See, any length.
Super chat!
Thanks, Johnny. Oh, what? Dude. Thank you, Johnny. Wow. Thanks, mate. Time off. I don't know. I'm not really going to be taking time off. I have lots of things I need to solve. But now's a great time to do it because, you know, I've got some downtime at the moment. I'm not using belts. I don't want to use belts. No belts, no belts. Going to use this. I will source this and I will use this. Not going to be using belts. Sorry guys, like I'm not interested in belts. 12mm will be fine. Like it's not pulling any weight, right? And it's just got to lock still. It does. Sex rule. Green thing is called a belt. It might be called a belt. I'm talking about timing belts, G2 belt, belts with teeth, or belts that are flat, whatever. Okay, we can call that that. If it doesn't look like that, please don't suggest it, because I don't want to. Like my other one, they're not good, right? The reason this is good is it does not shift laterally. The other belts shift laterally, right? Anyway, and the other belts, there's an issue with the way they have to sit, and if they get pushed up against the edge because of a piece, there's all sorts of issues with them, right? With these things, is the tiniest sliver of the top of the curve that the PCB is sitting on, right? And it's just, yeah. Find the cheapest PCB and do not do that. And do not do what? Oh, and don't do what they do, right? Oh, no way. Really, Johnny? Sorry to hear, mate. Measure the existing and use the same-ish size. The existing what? PU rough surface belt for PCB conveyor. Where did you just make that up, or did you actually find it, Mr. Explorer? I don't know if it'll have better accuracy or not. I need really good accuracy. Well, that's the other thing. With this, I don't need as much accuracy. I can have. So I've worked out that I've got half the width of the belt. We're calling it a belt. Half the width of the circumference on either side to play with. I don't have to have the PCB really close to the edge of the frame. With my other one, the one I've got after my pick and place machine that goes to the oven, which is using that flat green stuff, that's using this stuff that Alan pointed to, but it was narrower, right? Has to be exactly perfect. And if it's not exactly perfect, the board shifts on it. And it gets jammed in the corner sometimes, right? And you got to remember, I'm going anywhere from 0.8mm PCBs up to 1.6mm PCBs. And it's just, it's horrific, right? It's really problematic. With this thing, the board never shifts. Like it's just incredible, and there's very little contact on it. So I can have a gap on the side, I can have a bit more leeway, and it goes through really nicely. If it is a flat, it's a belt. If it's round, it's a T-belt or O-ring. Okay. Okay, so I need one of these. So these ones they've got in. So my measurement I need. So the amount the current ones can move is 280mm, from closed, like with the conveyors closed, to fully open according to those ones, which I don't need 280 wide. Oh, robot dig, interesting. Yeah, that looks like it could be it. Yep. Well done. So I wonder if RobotDig have anything. Go away. 1 meter. Add to cart. Okay, that's... Oh, do I have a login? No? Okay. So what else do they have? Let's have a look here. Well done for finding that. Let me... So, hang on. High performance, polyurethane surface tension, 8mm. Okay, on Amazon. Yep, that looks like it. Okay. Okay. Currently unavailable. Doesn't matter. That's fine. Okay, so we got that. Thank you. Now, the next question is, what other stuff? I wonder if they've got any of that extrusion stuff. Step extrusion and injection. Yeah, that was well found. Why not use trapezoidal rod T8 with an anti-backlash nut? Because I have no idea what they are. Don't know. Oh, they're extruders. I want extrusion. I want maker vitamins? What? Coupling gear, ball bearings, belt, time belts, endless belts, engine motors. Do they not sell any type of extrusions? SMT, production-y. I don't want pick and place machines. Awesome, Jay. Thank you. Okay, maybe we just need to conveyor. Did anything come up? I mean, the easiest thing, water cooling spiral vibrating conveyor. Yeah, I don't think that's what I want. The easiest thing would be to pull apart one of my conveyors here, right? And rebuild based on that. But I don't want to do that because A, I need the conveyor, and B, I need something that's reproducible. So I need to source the stuff I need. Do they not have extrusion? Right, okay, I don't know what the differences are, but I don't want that type of rod. I want the ball. I don't want lead screw, I don't think. I don't know. I was told not to use lead screw. I was told to use ball, and also every machine I've seen uses ball, Alan. I don't know why, but that's what. And I don't know. I understand what the anti-backlash is for. I don't want any movement. What do I need an anti-backlash thing for? I'm not fast moving this thing. I'm just adjusting a width. It's not like a 3D printer or a CNC or anything. Well, it is, accuracy is critical. I want, within, but maybe it's but I don't understand. What am I going to get backlash? You're talking about when the stepper stops, right? Right, but I'm not changing direction. Like when it's changing direction, I don't care about backlash because it's not moving. Like I'm setting a position and then it stops. So if what you're saying is I set a position and then there's going to be some backlash when it stops, right? When the stepper kind of locks into its whatever place. Well, okay, that can be worked around. But that's the thing. It's not moving. It's not moving when it's operating. It's only moving to get to a position, and then it stops there, and it could sit in that position for 3 weeks and never move again. Then you can pull it apart against the other side of the thread as long as you're always positioning. Well, yeah, well, no, it can't be always positioned going in the same direction. If it's currently narrow and it's got to be wider, then, right, or if it's currently wide, it's got to go narrow. It's going to be going in 2 different directions. You can always end with a move in the same direction, overshoot a little. Right, or I could always, if I'm going to change size, I can always close it, home it, and then reopen it, which I should be doing anyway, right? Home, so it's always stopping. It's always going in the same direction for when it stops. Okay, cool. Thanks, everyone. Right, so I'm trying to, like, so what type of extrude, so someone mentioned, was it an L slot or an L insert or something, was it? Oh, would it be under plates? Gantry joining plates, machine plates, motor plates, servo plates, other, no, what would I find? Someone said an L beam or something. Show a picture of the rails. I mean, this thing here. Meccano vibes. Let me just put that to the side. Right, I could go to Shenzhen and just wander around the stores and I could find what I need, but that's going to be a rather expensive thing to do. And they're pretty much COVID invested at the moment. Was it someone, an L something? Who was it that mentioned it? An L beam or something? I know it's not an L plate. Maybe it wasn't that. Someone mentioned something about how to get this bit sticking out here, the ledge. Something as an insert. L-shaped extrusion. Yeah, I don't know if that's a... Like, just straight up L's not going to work. It's got to be able to slot in, right? It's got to be... How would it be attached? Nice. 4K projector. Merry Christmas. What? You opened your Christmas present early? Shame on you. It looks like one piece to me. I can't work out, like this bit here, that lip that sticks out, which is part of this thing, it's attached to this piece. Like, there's no join. There's no gap there. Like, I can't get my fingernail in there or close to it at all. I can't find any screws holding any lip or anything in. It looks like it's one piece that's been extruded. I could be wrong. Ooh. I have a delivery from LCSC coming today. I can't see how it's attached. I've checked on both conveyors. They both have exactly the same things, just different lengths. And I can't see on either of them how they're attached. You could VHB the L. I don't know what VHB means. I think it's a G-shaped extrusion. What? A G. G. Okay, G-shaped. G-shape. Is that a thing? Well, it doesn't look like these. So it's got, so on one side there's one slot. Right, yeah. I agree with Peter. I think it's custom. So there's one on one side, and then there's two on the other side, and whatever this bit is sticking out. So I got to find out where. So extrusion for conveyor. I mean, obviously this is going to give me all sorts of different types of PVC built. What are these? Right, no. Definitely don't want built. No, wrong type. For PCB. Right, but this isn't a G though, as I said, because this has got, I mean, whether a G would work or not, I don't know, but this is clearly something different. And they're using the slot on both sides. I need, you know what I mean? It's... Yeah, yeah, I'm not looking for someone else to design one. Edge belt PCB conveyor, edge belt. Yeah, that's... I don't even know what to search for. Hey Sam, welcome. Sell enough of them, they will use custom extrusion. Right, but it's not custom to Honreal because, as I said, Honreal and the other ones I got, it was via Neoden, but it was not the right shape, but it looks like they do custom. So, right, but I don't even know what I'd be asking for, and I'm not looking at custom. I don't want, like, I can't go custom for now. I need like 6 pieces. Yeah, I can ad hoc something together, no problem. Yeah, I can use 2040. Yeah, I can use 2040, and I could get something working. But I was just hoping that there would be this is what this thing is. That's all. It would have been so much easier. What? Come on. L-shape extrusion, and look what's come up. In one search, ball screw. What the? Oh my god. Oh man. Oh. Gold. At least it didn't go Russian this time. Normally when I do a search it changes to Russian if I'm not logged in. Wow. Demonetized, maybe. I don't know. That's pretty funny. Okay, so I don't think they do L-shape extrusion here. Now, I wanted to show you actually what John was using. Hang on. So, John's got a video of his... And he found something, but it's different. So this is his... I don't think it's his current prototype. So he's just using a lot of 3D printed parts and stuff like that. I think he's removing some of the 3D printed parts, doing something else. I don't know. I need to ask him where we got this thing from, and what it is. It seems to have a lip on it, but it's also not the right shape, or it's not going to give me attachments for other things. Yeah, not safe for work. That is. It's okay. The other day I was doing a search on, what was I looking for? I was looking for optical sensors. Not quite like this, right? But I was looking for optical sensors with a T slot on them, and on the second page, 3/4 of the page was filled with ladies' lingerie, and like. I'm pretty sure my search was slot IR sensor. How does ladies' lingerie fit in with that? Anyway, I don't know what the hell's happening with AliExpress. Maybe geographically, this is what everyone is searching for. I don't know. It doesn't happen when I log in though. It only happens when I'm not logged in, and that's pretty funny. Maybe, I'm pretty sure I wrote slot, but it could have been. That's actually yeah, no, because the right thing came up. So John's actually like he's progressed his thing further. He's going to use one of those ESP32 touch things. Ooh. Turbotronics just posted this. That's different to what this one is, but it's... So what is it though? Is that totally custom extrusion? It looks like it's totally custom extrusion. But it's definitely got a lip there. But where would that lip be attached? Might be doing fuzzy string matching. I don't know what it's doing, but it was just a maybe it's from a previous search history. Not on mine. I'm pretty sure I've not been looking for ladies' lingerie or any of the other stuff that appeared today. Yeah. So, I mean, I see stuff like that all the time. Like when I'm searching, like when I click on links, when people post, you know, links for stuff on their videos or whatever else for AliExpress, and I click on it and it takes me, like it sets it somehow to Russian, and then all of a sudden it's filled with all sorts of stuff. Maybe it's left over from that. I don't know, but it's pretty funny. I don't understand though how category-wise it gets them in that search. That's anyway. I found USPS postage stamps. I assume they're a fake. What? It falls back to front page stuff, but why would that be front page stuff? Anyway, okay. It's all in the extrusion, the cutouts, and the other details are machined later. Okay. Yeah, milled away at the end. So I guess I could always design, like I'll eventually design a shape and see if I can get someone to extrude it, right? If I can solve the rest of it. Okay, so basically, my plan is to build a frame out of 40/40 extrusion. At least to start with. Right, I'll get some of those, that they sell feet kit for them, like, so I can do the whole foot thing anyway. Like, I don't know how much this is going to cost. Sneeze guard. What is a sneeze guard? What? 37 bucks each. I know I can get cheaper stuff. The idea is I want to be up and prototyping my first one as quick as possible. Now, one of those conveyors from China is $1,000. It's like 700 US dollars plus shipping, and it's either 90 to 120 days to ship it, or if I want to ship it by air, it's like $900 to ship by air. So, you know, I'm replacing a $1,000 conveyor. Like, if my first one costs me $1,000 in parts and I get a shorter conveyor, bonus. Like, I'm not overly worried about the cost for this first one. I'm not trying to do it cheap. I'm trying to do it in a like, you know, does that make sense? 4080. I don't know if they have 4080. Do they have? Got C-beam. No, these guys have only got 40, or they've got C-beam heavy. Wow, that's expensive. Okay. 4080, so you can place all the, what components we're talking about? I'm talking about for the legs, for the actual stand. Like, I'll build an extruded base that everything will attach to, and then I'll use extrusion for everything that's going to attach. Does that make sense? Catch you later, Cable Tie. Have a good day at work. Haven't heard from James, by the way. Is everything working? I hope everything's working. Like, we're only talking a meter in height. Like, I'm right, and using like 2060 around the top and 2060 lower down. I could weight it at the bottom. Hey, DIY. I guess it depends on if you want to get it out of the way when it's now. What do you mean out of the way? Where's my thing gone? Fusion. So, like, I actually thought I'd be designing in Fusion today. Like, I thought I'd just doing some rough outs. So if I want to go, let's say 250. If I want to go 250, then the base has got to be, like, it can't be any wider than 200 by 200. I just don't know if that's going to be sturdy enough. So the base is 200 by 200, and we had, if we used 40 by 40 extrusion, how's it going to fit? That's the whole point. The whole point of this is to get a narrow, a very short length conveyor, right? So, I'm not going to array it. Maybe I'll array it. Oh no, I'm not going to do this nicely for now. I'm just going to mock it up. I'm just doing a footprint at the moment. Okay, so 40 by 40. And, well, actually, no, it can be longer. That's interesting. It doesn't have to be 40 by 40. The width to 250, but actually, there is no reason why this can't be, like, its length. So not its length on the line, the opposite. Right? There's no reason why it can't be like that to keep it sturdier, right? And then there'll be, you know, I need a lean on, like a place at the front to put things on. All the way as far at the corners as I can for the space, right? So then there's going to be like, so the front bit on the current units are like, there's like a little shelf at the front that's about 200. So I'd probably do okay, just let me so if that was, oh, that's got to hang out. Okay, that won't work. Right, so if I just do this, 200's too much. That's a lot of hangout. If I just do 150, did that really not go in the right spot? Close enough. Okay, standard, i.e. not heavy, C-beam is very strong and rigid. I use it to build my CNC machine. It's 4080. Right, okay, yeah, the problem with the C-beam though, it's still very expensive. So it's $37 for the 4040. 61. Sure. I just need it for the 4 legs. I could definitely do that. Okay, so the front section, no, it's still too wide. I'll have to work out how far it can hang out the front. And then so we'll have, so I don't know how wide those things are going to be. Let's call it 40. Oi, stop. So that's 250, right? Like that there is 25. Like that's as wide as the conveyor is going to be. That only gives me 25 millimeters on each side if I'm using a 200 by 200 base. So if I just move this down to here, approximately. Okay. So what this is going to give me is let's go. Yeah. So a meter high. That's not a meter. What? Is that a meter? Jesus. That does not look like it's going to be steady at all. Bye. Well, this Maker Beam people so Maker Store are local, and there's some other places kind of local that I can get stuff from for quick prototyping. Sure, it's not overly cost effective, but it's definitely something that I can that I'm gonna consider. Right, base, and then this would be the conveyor. I don't know how high it would be. I think 60 might be too high. Right, that would be like the fixed size of the conveyor. How deep? The total length of the conveyors are 630. That's including the bit at the front, the green bit at the front. Do I have a picture of? Probably not, because it's open. But you would have seen from that video I showed before. Hey everyone. This, so you can see at the front, right? So it's got this like a platform at the front. So I can make it much wider, like the like this can I don't want that one constrained. Okay, so now I should be able to move this. No? Oh. 350. Oh, why is that pulling apart? Oh, 300. So I can make that 450. Oh my god, why is that moved? I want that D to that one. It should be 140. Okay, finish. Right, so I mean I can make that deeper. Right, that's 450 now. There to there, yeah, it's 450 deep, which is still a bit less than what the other one is. The other one, yeah, is 630, I think. Right, but if I had that and then I had like extrusion around the last stream for the year, not forever. Hey JF, like if I go extrusion around the outside here, like 60-40, 60-20 or 40-20, maybe a little shelf inside. I don't know. Like it might work. You got to remember, there's yeah. Extrude, new body. Okay. Right, so that's the bit that's going to move back and forwards. Just donate to the unexpected stream funds to keep the streams. Thanks, Johnny. Right, that bit there actually has to be level with the front bit. Close enough anyway. somehow, and then everything's got to kind of attach. Now, the inside of this bit can be hollow, like the, well, it will be. It's interesting. Why is it not snapping? No, not that. That, and that, and that, and that. However that works, and I can have as much depth in there as I need, and all the electronics can go in this front section, which can be as deep as I need as well. Catch you later, Andy. Have a Merry Christmas. People have been leaving the whole time, and I didn't say it. I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a safe and happy New Year. I should have done it at the start, so that way people would have heard me say that before they left. Sorry. Hey, Alex, and that Tat Walker. Close. I mean, this is really like bulky. This is it. Like if I can solve this piece with a stepper and a belt, that's exactly the same as this piece, right? And so all I need to do is have this, I don't know why I did it. That probably going to be narrow like that. And I'm sure I've got steppers and stuff all over the place, but I don't know where they would go, but where's the center locked? Hello? Why aren't you letting me? Not letting me copy it. There we go. So there have to be some type of back on there as well. Something at the back. I would put a steel plate on the top to make it stiff diagonally. Yeah, it absolutely can do that. Right, there won't be a hollow. There needs to be something, like I don't want the stuff falling through to the ground. So yeah, I could definitely put some type of steel plate or something that would give it more rigidity. So whatever's on the back, What? Did I not duplicate that part first? That's annoying. Copy. Paste. Anyway. That thing won't hold. If you put an arm on it, it has to be bolted to the floor to hold. I wouldn't put an arm on this one. I wouldn't be able to fit inside it in the space to do it. I'm wider than 250. But yeah, Johnny, trust me, I'm an engineer. Think of the forces on the top. You just put a hand on it at that height. But I don't understand. What do you mean? It's where's it gonna tilt? I mean, I can make the thing deeper, but where's it gonna tilt? It's not going to tilt side to side. It's going to be wedged between two pick and place machines, or between two whatevers, right? But sure, I mean, no one said that this is a table that you can drink a beer on. Like, it's going to have some constraints on what you can necessarily do because of how narrow it is, but that's okay. Like, that's part of it. Check Discord. What am I checking on Discord? I found the extrusion. Ooh. How did you find it? What is it? It just needs to stand on its feet on the floor. That looks of SMT conveyor belt. New Becker. Where'd you find? How did you even find that? Where is this company? New Becker. Oh, right. They're in China. Okay. Right. See that slot there? That's that slot that the belt stuff uses that gets completely jammed. Need horizontal. Yeah, I haven't put those in. So, yeah, my plan is to have a set of extrusion. One second. It's, yeah, not done well, okay, but, oh, what happened then? What? Okay. Fusion, you're drunk. My plan is to have it like a set around there, and then another set around there. They'll go all the way around, obviously, right? All the way around. Right, and then I can put weight on it down here to make it really bottom heavy. Google Foo, Alibaba as well. Your Google Foo is awesome. Except I don't really want to have that bit of lip inside, but it's fine. I can do it. This one doesn't have that lip going in, but that's okay. I can definitely do it. I can definitely use it. I can put a tabletop for a beer on the inside and down the bottom. Sure. Actually, didn't want to join it. Extrude to there. New body. Oh. No, I don't want to do that either. Extrude to there. I do want it to join, but I need to turn that off first. Okay. Not that I really need to do this right now. Okay, regardless. No, I'll attach them on the outside. I'm going to use some L plates around the outsides of them. Anyway, that's fine. Diagonal brace would, yeah, well, putting a diagonal inside a square surfaces is a challenge. I know you can get adapters for it, whatever. Anyway, I can solve all that. That's easy to solve, right? It's the rest of the stuff. So $12.10 per kilogram. Minimum order quantity is 1 kilogram. Okay. I'd love it without that little bit of in cut, but that's okay. Now for the hard parts. Well, this was a problem, but this is great. So thank you, Mr. Explorer. 2455. 2455 extrusion. Ooh. That's anyway. Fine. Okay. So what do I need? I need 2 screw rods. Well, no, I could do 1 screw rod in the middle, like it was suggested, and 2 linear rods on the sides. Does that make more sense? Make those linear rods and do 1 screw in the middle, 1 ball screw in the middle. For diagonal steel cable screw tension or some type. Sure, as I said, getting it stable is the easy part. It's this stuff up here that is going to be the hard part. So linear rods and 1 ball screw stepper, and then I need a stepper for each of those. That can just be NEMA 17s, you think, on the actual conveyor for this bit here. That just needs to be a 17. It's just pulling the pulleys, right? And a 23 for the main ball screw. And coupler. Hey, Mike. 1 second. I think a courier. Hello, good morning. How you doing? Awesome. Thank you so much. No, it's not a holiday. See ya. Bye. That's. Oh, I know what they are. Right. I thought it was going to be my PCBs, but it wasn't. Yeah, it was just DHL. I would go for 2 ball screws just for stability. What, and 2 steppers? That really complicates things though, unless I join one to the other with a chain. I mean, at the end of the day, if there's 3 motor controllers or 4 motor controllers, doesn't matter. That's what I was going to show you. So John, so he was going to use ESP32, one of those ones with a screen, all together with a touch screen, as the controller, and he's actually designed a board that does, you know, a lot of functionality for what this might need, but not necessarily like it's opto isolated in and out, but it looks like he's only got support for the 2 steppers, and I'm going to need 3. Right, if I used a 1 stepper, how am I going to attach the 2 together? I didn't really want to go for where is it? Like a chain like this, ideally. I mean, I could, but I prefer something simpler, easier. Well, simpler, easier is not the right terminology. Something that was a nicer solution than this. Like, there's just grease everywhere inside here. Deal with a closed loop belt. You can drive 2 steppers off the same driver. Yeah, but then what's if independently what's if they're out of sync? Like, you know what I mean? I can't adjust one without adjusting the other. Well, from a simpler is 2 ball screws with steppers attached, though makes it more complex on the other side. More power requirements for running 2 steppers, 2 NEMA 23s instead of 1. Maybe, I don't know. I'm also going to have to be able to set these manually. So I want to use the NEMA steppers that have the pole or whatever they're called on both sides, right? So I could manually attach something to adjust it if I needed to. If the power was down, if the Wi-Fi was down, if whatever was down, if something needed to be tweaked and things weren't working properly, I need to be able to manually do it. So I guess I just need to source all of these bits and pieces, right? I'm going to need plates, which again, that I'm referring to the maker store. It can be from anywhere. It doesn't really matter. But you keep saying, I don't understand what you mean by closed belt. You mean a belt from one to the other one? I don't know if a belt is what is the. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so there's plenty of plates and stuff. But 1 bolt with 2 square linear rails, 1 each side will be stuff. Why linear rails and not? Right. I understand. 2 pulleys with belt, but it's going to need tensioners. It's going to need other things. Like they're going to have to be both like really accurate and tight. I'd like to stay away from putting any type of belts on, timing belts. That limits me to what lengths I can use, size of the belts, and stuff. Catch you later, Embedded Hobbyist. Yeah, hopefully see you tomorrow. The stepper can tighten the belt. But 2 linear rails, like linear rails, or why not just smooth rod? Like linear rails is a problem, then I need something to mount the linear rails to. Where screw rod can just be, you know, screw rod with one of these things on it. Haha. Oh, Mr. Explorer's going as well? What? Catch you later, Mr. Explorer. Thanks for your help. Thanks for the links. Really appreciate it. I'm designing a conveyor, a custom conveyor. Gives much better resistance to twisting. Right, but also increases costs quite a bit. Like, what would I be attaching to the linear rail? I can't really be attaching the moving... If I attach the moving piece... I don't know how I'd design that. Hello, where's my... Okay, that's what we're already looking at. I don't understand. What are you linking to that for, Alan? I was already looking. I'm already doing ball screw. The question is, am I doing multiple or not? Like, am I doing 2 steppers? Like, I still don't. I still don't understand why you're getting me to look for this. The question I've got right now is, am I doing a single stepper or 2 steppers? If I'm doing 2 steppers, I can use 2 of those. Right, but I don't need 16 for the thickness. 12 is fine. That's what we spoke about before. The attachment problem is the same for round smooth rod. Yeah, I guess. A single stepper on... I understand, Alan, with a closed loop on it. I understand. I understand. So the screw rod's going to have to be able to go all the way to the front so I can manually adjust it. Like, ideally, But if I had two steppers, then I'd need to be able to have to adjust both. That's the problem. Right, but remember, if I want to go manual, if I have two steppers, one on each ball screw, then I need manual control on both of them to adjust them. Dutchmaker is back. Okay, so I'm going to have to find a way to join them. Okay, that's fine. Like I need that out the front somehow. I understand, Alan. I get the whole closed loop thing. That is one option. I get it. It's not necessarily the right option. It's just one option. I'm still exploring other options. I understand how it'll work if it's just one with a belt between the two of them. I got that. Or a chain between the two of them. Whatever I do. Forget the rest of the crap on there. What? What? Use linear rails instead of ball screw? I don't think I want to go only linear rail. So what length? I'm going to need quite a long... There's plenty of lengths, but again, I don't want to wait to get them from China. What have they got? So they've only got 1600. Or, sorry, that's not true. In their kits they do, but they don't have any kits in stock. So anyway, okay, so one actuator doesn't require hypersystem matching, two linear rails. It needs to be perfectly linear, perfectly parallel, perfectly. And it has to be quite accurate in its positioning. To within... When I say quite accurate, maybe not as accurate as a 3D printer needs to be, but it's got to be accurate, you know, within 0.2 or 0.3 of a millimeter. I need to be able to set it. And I still need to get sensors on, and I'm going to need more sensors. If it's going to do its auto homing thing where it closes together, then there's going to have to also be a sensor to detect if there's a PCB on there or not anywhere, because it needs to be able to not let it home if there's a PCB on there. I think I just need to order a bunch of stuff and start building. Is what I need to do. Like at least order a bunch of extrusion. Start building the base out. Build a platform for me to work off. I need to order. As I said, like I'm not overly fussed on what I'm spending on parts right now, because what's at stake here for me is pretty massive compared to what it's going to cost, and what it's going to cost, even if I'm paying silly markup from MakerStore and not buying from China, is still going to be cheaper than buying a pre-made solution, and there is no pre-made solutions anyway at the size I need. And this is based on 250. If it's got to be 300, that'll make the base wider anyway. So I think I need to just start ordering. Two linear rails. Okay. It's easy. I mean, I've got linear rails here, unfortunately. But that's a smooth rod. Like, that's not a linear rail. Or is that still called a linear rail? I guess it's a linear rail. I guess if it's linear and it's a rail, that's. I mean, I don't normally play in this space, so right. That's what I was originally thinking, but not like this. I was thinking of just rods, not fixed to a base. They'd be fixed to the ends, right? So not something that attaches to the bottom. That would allow me to not have to worry about where the bottom's going to be. That it's, you know what I mean? Don't make it too big. What do you mean by too big? The cross section. What do you mean by the cross section? Hey, Peter. What do you mean by the cross section, Chris? No, I don't want linear rail. Floating rods flex a lot. Really? Like even a 12mm. Define flex a lot. There's no weight on this thing. I have, Peter, and I will not do that. Firstly, I can't be without them while I'm doing that. And secondly, I need this reproducible. So reproducing it by buying other conveyors and tearing them apart to remake them, where I have to throw away almost everything, including all the electronics, all the wiring, and all I'm going to be able to keep is the ball screws, doesn't make any sense. I need this to be reproducible. So over 500 millimeters, you think that is going to flex several millimeters. If there's a ball screw and then there's a rod on each side, how's it going to flex? There's no weight on it. The only weight on it is that extrusion that we found and a stepper. Okay. I wouldn't have thought that flex on this would have been a problem at all. Honest, I mean, there's literally no weight. Put stepper on the side. There is not. No, the stepper has to be on the moving. What do you mean? There has to be a stepper on that bit that moves. That's what moves the belt. What do you mean by bind? I don't. Sorry. You're talking about the ball bearing thing will get stuck because of the slight flex on the thing. I don't know. Okay. Going this introduces a world of design pain. Like, this completely limits me on my design because I need some type of bottom to hold everything, which gives me no flexibility on any of the other heights. Where that, yeah, I don't know. Can you get 16mm smooth rod? Well, no, it's different on the Z-axis because you're not having lateral flex. Like it's this way. It's a different direction. You don't have gravity at play here, vertically. $60mm shaft diameter harness. Oh, RS, that's expensive. But anyway. 16, 17, 18mm. Okay. I also would have thought that these would be fine, but can't you not put a rod from one side to the other side and put a stepper on that pulley? But that thing's moving. Where does the stepper's got to move with it? You see this? The stepper, which is connected to the belt, has to move. Spline shaft. I don't know what a spline shaft is, but that's the solution I'm making. It's the simplest solution. I'm not putting one stepper to control both conveyors and have that also be movable on the other side. No, there's one. That stepper is a moving side. This here is the moving side. There's a stepper on the other side of this one. Oops. Which is a fixed size. That's a fixed side. There's a stepper on the other side. This is the moving side, as you can see with the big long cable, with a stepper on it. Yeah, stepper to the green belt, so the green belt can turn. Yeah, that's oversimplifying things for no gain. Once again, the weight of the stepper and everything else is, yeah, I don't, anyway, okay. Doing this or a linear rail introduces what I believe for me is going to be design difficulties. But what's the rod attached to on the other side? The other side has to move. Hey, Marius, which means that that thing that's spinning the other side has to not be fixed. It's got to be loose. So there's going to be play. And it's going to, like, yeah, no. Two steppers. You guys are trying to optimize a design that doesn't need optimizing right now. Exactly the way that works is I'm quite happy building it that way. Hey, Adam. Quite happy to do the two-stepper thing for now. I need a solution for the length of the conveyor. I don't need a way to optimize the mechanics of it. Does anyone know what these sensors are called? These types of sensors? I've seen them around, but I've never actually looked at them. I don't know what they're called. Okay, but if I do a search on proximity sensor, there's like a million different types of proximity sensors. Like, is there a specific name for that type? It's not capacitive, it's IR. You think it's capacitive? I don't think so. It's optical. I can trigger it from my hand this far away. It's, hey random hacks, it's definitely optical. And there's 2 little LEDs inside. So, yeah. 100% optical. But particular, like the housing and stuff. Could be reflective. Proximity sensor. Still very general term, you see. So again, like I'm talking about the specific type, that housing, right? I mean, see that's here we go. Something like that. What's it called? Ooh, Aussie Electronics. No, just Oz. OzElectronics.com.au. Infrared photoelectric obstacle avoidance sensor. Okay. What else do they do? Mobile lines, gadgets, audio, automotive, Raspberry Pi. How's it? Cool. I think I've seen these guys before somewhere, but I don't have to use these, it's just a matter of mounting, easy mounting. Have they got them on makers? Yeah, I know they've got linear rails there. Again, it's the same problem for me though. I've got nothing to mount them on. Unless I could just have them floating and mount at the end. Somehow. I don't have a way, I don't have anything underneath to mount them on. And I've got linear rails here. I don't know what length are they? Probably not long enough. They're long enough for what I need. I got rails and stuff, but I'd still prefer to not have something mounted to the bottom. But then I still have to have some extrusion mounted on the thing at the right height to do that. Catch you later, Christopher. Don't throw in the towel. Not in the shower or the pool. Anyway. Okay, I've been going for almost 3 hours. I still think I need to just start. The easiest thing would be to directly replicate what's on this conveyor right now. I'm gonna have to get that extrusion from somewhere, and it doesn't look like it's going to be quick to do, unfortunately. Dealing with Alibaba is going to be a pain. Yeah, I know they do, Chris. But then again, I have to mount them for that to happen. I'll play with designs. I'll try to work it out. Catch you later, Alan. Thanks for your help. Have a happy new year. A safe one. Yeah. Right. I understand, Chris. Truly, I understand. The thing is, though, going for a design that isn't like that means that, see this in here? Where the bottom sits is totally independent to anything else. I can have that bottom as deep or as high as I want, and I don't have to worry about anything because I've got nothing that's fixed that has to be fixed to it. Even a sideways bit. Now, I'm not using MDF. I want to see if I can build all of this stuff with extrusion and maybe a metal plate for stability, but I don't want to be adding, for now anyway. I want the flexibility to be able to change shapes and sizes and things. Like I don't want to be fixed and locked into a particular height for that thing or whatever else because I have to put extrusion in there that has to line up perfectly in some way with the ball screw. Alan is speaking Swedish, is he? Speaking of Swedish, Johnny, what have you done to Mark? Have you got him in a closet again, working? You want diaphragms for stability, rigidity in the long term. It's not a fast-moving, heavy load thing. I don't know. I don't think I don't. I'm not sure I do. I don't know. Anyway, I guess we'll see. We'll see, Chris. I'll be proven right or wrong at some point. Okay. For those of you that are left, thank you very much for all your fun and shenanigans all year. Thanks for all your support and joining on all these streams, the good ones and the bad ones. Right, back from my nightly call. Sylvia's, hey Sylvia. Yeah, I hope you all have a great and safe Happy New Year and Christmas if you celebrate, and festivities if you don't, whatever it is. We use Cayenne's optical sensors for tray in and tray out, and nothing but extrusion for feed rails. For what, Adam? Like, what is it that you're building, or that you have built, or that you're using, or whatever? For pick and place trays. Okay. Do you have any links or pictures or anything of the stuff? Or Johnny, click like or else. No threats. So do you make your own conveyors? Thanks, Adam. That'd be great. I mean, so what I'm trying to do is not reinvent from scratch. Like I'm trying to mimic. Like I could come up with different extrusion. I don't have to use those side things. I can come up with a completely different design that can make it much more lightweight and alleviate a lot of this stuff. But I want something that's going to not just be usable by me, but something that's going to mimic and be good enough to replace these things for other people, right? I think the challenge there is to make it as similar to these other things as possible. Like not diverge straight off to make designing it easier or whatever else. I think that's going to send me off on a tangent that isn't necessarily going to leave me with something at the end that is going to be, usable by anyone. If that makes sense. Yeah, ultimately they're very simple. Like it should be a really simple problem to solve. And it probably is. It's just a lot of stuff I've not done before. Thanks, Graham. Thanks, Dutch Taurus. Thanks, Marius. What'd you miss, Peter? Oh, lots of discussion about linear rails. Proven and reproducible design. Well, as close to mimicking as possible. So, I don't want someone to look at it and go, wow, that looks totally different from what I'm used to or comfortable with. I know there are, Chris. The problem is I don't know what any of them are. I've never worked in this space, never done these things before. Never played with any of this stuff before. I don't even know what things are called. Couplers, collets. How do you attach a stepper to a screw rod? You know what I mean? This is all new territory for me. So yeah, there's a bit of trepidation in there as well. Pov! Just as I was saying goodbye, I'm designing a conveyor, a PCB conveyor, but with I've got some very tight design requirements in terms of its size. So yeah, thanks Adam, that'd be awesome. Okay, just make your own CNC and you know all about it. I'll never have time to make my own CNC, but I do want to own a CNC at some point. Okay, anyway, bye everyone. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Don't party too hard. If you do, take photos so you got something to remember. And I will catch you all in 2023. Hopefully 2023 will be a little step up from 2022, including components. Maybe. Okay, bye everyone. Catch you later.